companies all around the world, the biggest, and they want to come back into the U.S. Car plants are being canceled in other locations now because they want to build them here. And you read about a couple, not that I want to mention names or anything, but you read about a couple of big ones in Mexico just got canceled because they're going to be building them in the United States. And that's very simply because of what we're doing with respect to taxes, tariffs, and incentives. And I think it's a very important thing. And you'll be seeing this over the next, probably over the next 2 years, to be honest, but you're going to see a lot of it over the next couple of weeks. A lot of big ones are bouncing. And so while we're here, I guess we can take a couple of quick questions. Go ahead, please. Please.
Mr. President, have you decided specifically what the auto tariff rate should be?
Yeah, I probably will tell you that on April 2nd, but it'll be in the neighborhood of 25%.
What about semiconductors and pharmaceuticals?
It'll be 25% and higher, and it'll go very substantially higher over a course of a year. But we want to give them time to come in because, as you know, when they come into the United States and they have their plant or factory here, there is no tariff. So we want to give them a little bit of a chance. Yes, thank you.
The Andrea Shalal, the EU representative is going to be here in Washington tomorrow. He's going to be meeting with Hassett and Greer and Letnick. What can the EU do to sort of avoid the reciprocal tariffs that you've talked about? And, you've talked a lot about the VAT. Do you expect them to reduce that?
Well, they did already, as I understand it, reduce their car tariff all the way down to what we have. And a lot of that will take place, and I think some won't do it and some will do it. But the EU had a 10% tax on cars, and now they have a 2.5% tax, which is the exact same as us. So already we've saved a tremendous amount. That would be great. If everybody would do that, then we'd all be on the same playing field. Because essentially what we're doing with the tariffs is, they charge us, we charge them, same amount. And it's called reciprocal, actually. And whatever they charge us, we're charging them. And so the EU is, I appreciate that they did this, but, the EU has been very unfair to us. We have a deficit of $350 billion. They don't take our cars. They don't take our farm products. They don't take almost anything. They take very little. And we're going to have to straighten that out. And we will. I have no doubt about it. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Could you tell us a little bit more about the Russia talks, your impression of how they went today, and if you're perhaps more confident or less confident of the deal after what happened today?
Well, much more confident. They were very good. Russia wants to do something. They want to stop the savage barbarianism. I mean, what's going on over there? It's soldiers are being killed by the thousands on a weekly basis. It's ridiculous. And they're not American soldiers. They're Russian soldiers and they're Ukrainian soldiers largely, although a lot of Koreans have been killed, as you know. Quite a bit of them have been killed. They came over to fight and a large portion have been wiped out. But we want to end it. It's a senseless war. It should have never happened, would have never happened if I was president. And it's a shame to see it. And I see pictures that you don't see, but I see pictures of fields that look just horrible. It looks like Gettysburg. If you see the old pictures of Gettysburg, it's soldiers lying all over the field, body parts all over the field. They're all dead. And this is going on a daily basis. It's a horrible thing. Both Russia and Ukraine, they're losing thousands and thousands of soldiers. And a lot of people have been killed too. I think that's one of the things that you'll see historically and you'll see later on as it goes along. I think people are going to be surprised at how many people, not only soldiers, have been killed in Ukraine. A lot more people than you think. Yeah, please.
President Trump, as part of a peace deal with Putin, would you be willing to consider removing all American troops from Europe?
Well, nobody's asked me to do that, so I don't think we'd have to do that. I wouldn't want to do that. But that question's never really come up. Yeah, please.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you've been listening, Trump's talking about ending the war over there. If you pay any attention to politics yesterday, Lindsey got on TV and told the American people and Israel and the Arab countries, you're going to have to straighten it out yourselves. It's not our war, and we're getting out of there. So it might be a similar situation here where Mr. Trump said either the end of war or we're out, right? Whatever happens between you and Russia happens between you and Russia, and we're out of it. Much like they're doing right now with Israel, saying Israel better step in if you know, if they're saying Hamas has to go or whatever, then they're going to have to occupy that area, and they're going to have to do it and hold their own ground, and America's pretty much out of it. So it might be something similar to what Mr. Trump's cutting a deal or getting the war to stop. Let's listen to a little bit more.
Sir, do you support stationing European peacekeeping troops in Ukraine as part of this peace deal?
If they want to do that, that's great. I'm all for it. If they want to do that, I think that'd be fine.
Russians are-
I mean, I know France has mentioned it, others have mentioned it, UK has mentioned it, but yeah, if we have a peace deal, I think having troops over there from the standpoint of Europe, we won't have to put any over there because, we're very far away. But having troops over there would be fine. I would not object to it at all. We're talking about this now, peace. We have either a ceasefire or a peace itself, and we're looking to do both. Would start off with the ceasefire, and if they want to do that, I know France was willing to do that, and I thought that was a beautiful gesture. Yeah, please.
Do you have any message for Ukrainians who, after 3 years of fighting, might feel betrayed or disappointed at not having a seat at these initial talks in Saudi Arabia?
Well, I think I'm really disappointed in what's happened. I've been watching this for 3 years. It's a war that would have never happened if I was president, and I've been watching these people being killed at levels that you've rarely seen, not even close, since the Second World War. And I'm very disappointed. I hear that, they're upset about not having a seat. Well, they've had a seat for 3 years and a long time before that. This could have been settled very easily. Just a half-baked negotiator could have settled this years ago without the loss of much land, very little land, without the loss of any lives, and without the loss of cities that are just laying on their sides. You have those magnificent gold.
Did I just hear what I think I hear? I think I heard my president say that even I could have figured out how to solve the situation over there. Well, he said even someone half-baked. That would probably, he's meaning somebody stoned out of their heebie-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dees. Not me, but somebody. So, yeah, I think it probably would have. He's pretty much saying it was that easy. A stoner could have figured it out. So, yeah, that's pretty interesting. Let's get back to listening.
Golden domes that are shattered will never be replaced. You can't replace them. 1,000-year-old domes that are so beautiful, you can't replace that. The whole civilization has changed because of what. So when they're worried about not being seated, you mean somebody that should have gone in and made a deal a long time ago? You could have made a deal. This is one that could have made a deal. There was no talk of this during the Trump administration. Putin would have never, ever done it. And by the way, we wouldn't have had October 7th. You know that. We wouldn't have had October 7th either in Israel. And we wouldn't have had that mess that's going on over there. It's like we have great fire people here. We're putting out fires all over the world. We're putting out fires. So that wouldn't have happened. And you know what else wouldn't have happened? Inflation. Because it was caused really by the cost of energy going through the roof because of their bad energy policies and also their spending, their terrible spending, wasteful spending on the Green New Scam. It's a scam. It's a whole big scam. Yeah, please.
Pardon me, sir. Mr. Trump, Johnny Kramer News here, also / movie channel, music channel, DIY outdoor video YouTuber. Sir, my question is, how can you say that this global warming is fake. And I do believe the volcano yesterday split the mountain, and lava came oozing out, and our temperature broke away. Sir, you're probably been filled in about the magnetic force that we've been fighting and struggling with that broke away yesterday and is going to be sending cold temperatures down into the United States. Also, sir, there was one other question that I wanted to answer, sir, but I forgot. But let me rewind here, and I do believe it was something. Sir, inflation. We all know why inflation went up, sir. War. That's why inflation went up. No other thing other than war. And you can see the uprise of our inflation as the war started. Why, sir? Because war brings money. And it's always been like that. And that's just my question, sir. I am no genius like you. Just a newsman here, sir.
Yes, sir. I want to ask you a little closer to home. What would it take for you to reconsider the restrictions on the Associated Press? And secondly, some of your advisors are concerned with the Associated Press's style guide, using language and giving guidance to not use words like illegal immigrant or to use phrases like gender affirming care. And they're concerned about that being an encroaching of liberalism in the way in which the press writes about things. Do you share those concerns?
Well, I do think that some of the phrases that they want to use are ridiculous. And I think, frankly, they become obsolete, especially in the last 3 weeks, because many things have happened in the last 3 weeks. And I didn't know about that, but I would say that if they want to use certain phrases like that, and I guess some are okay, but many aren't. But the Associated Press just refuses to go with what the law is and what is taking place. It's called the Gulf of America now. It's not called the Gulf of Mexico any longer. I have the right to do it, just like we have the right to do Mount McKinley, and nobody's even challenging that. But only essentially, it's primarily the Associated Press, and I don't know what they're doing, but I just say that we're going to keep them out until such time as they agree that it's the Gulf of America. We're very proud of this country, and we want it to be the Gulf of America. Now, the Associated Press, as you know, has been very, very wrong on the election, on Trump and the treatment of Trump and other things having to do with Trump and Republicans and conservatives. And they're doing us no favors. And I guess I'm not doing them any favors. That's the way life works. But, thank you for the question. Who are you with? Very good question. Thank you. Yes.
We're hearing that Russia wants to force Ukraine to hold new elections in order to sign any kind of a peace deal. Is that something that the U.S. would ever support?
Well, we have a situation where we haven't had elections in Ukraine, where we have martial law, essentially martial law in Ukraine, where the leader in Ukraine, I hate to say it, but he's down at 4% approval rating, and where a country has been blown to smithereens. You got most of the cities are laying on their sides. The buildings are collapsed. It looks like a massive demolition site. So many of the cities. They haven't done it in Kiev because I guess they don't want to shoot too many rockets in there. They've done it 20%, but they haven't done it 100%. If they wanted to do it 100%, it would probably happen very quickly. But you have cities that are absolutely decimated. And yeah, I would say that, when they want a seat at the table, you could say wouldn't the people of Ukraine have to say, like, it's been a long time since we've had an election. That's not a Russia thing. That's something coming from me and coming from many other countries also. Ukraine is being just wiped out. Look at what's happening to the cities. There are cities, there's not even a building standing. It's a massive, you talk about Gaza. It's literally, these cities look like Gaza. Actually, many have percentage-wise more buildings knocked down than in Gaza. So, people are tired of it. People want to see something happen. And, the other thing that it's
excuse me, Mr. Trump. Johnny Kramer from Johnny Kramer YouTube channel, music, movie news. Sir, what we are tired of is these wars, and we have to end up our taxpayer money rebuilding Ukraine. And I find that unfortunate because it wasn't a war, and I feel for the Ukraine people. But sir, this is, I mean, right now we just can't do that. I mean, if there's even talk about, well, we're going to have to pitch in and pay for Ukraine to be rebuilt, all the domes and everything, and we're suffering. I don't know, sir. That's just my question, sir. I mean, you're a very smart gentleman. I'm not gonna lie. He's an intelligent person, but I can't see the sense of this. Why do we keep? How do we end up paying to rebuild all this stuff? I don't understand. It ain't even our country. We don't even. I don't under. You know, when the church burnt down, people are now questioning how much money of the American monies, people's money, went to rebuild the church that burnt down. I mean, nobody is above the law. Nobody. And I hate to say it, Mr. Trump. Nobody means everybody on earth. And what have we been doing? I don't even want to bring it up because I don't want the wrath of God and their vampires and their demonic demons to attack me in my chat and my YouTube news channel. So my question, I have many questions, Mr. Trump, many questions of why we have been brainwashed so long, sir. And if we're dealing with vampires, there is war against vampires that we can learn, I guess. It was back in the 1820s or whatever it was. Who knows? The ancient days. But I'm sure that there's cataloged of how to fight these things. Yeah, Elon's even talking about them. So that's my question, sir. That's about. I know it's stupid and an idiot question, but I am an idiot and I am stupid and I have documentation to prove it. Let's carry on.
It's been bothering me for a long time because I solved the problem with NATO. They paid hundreds of billions of dollars into the funds of NATO when I said you got to pay because the United States was paying for European countries and then they take advantage of us on trade. But I've seen it. Look, they have to pay. They have to find out where's the money going to. We have, I believe President Zelensky said last week that he doesn't know where half of the money is that we gave him. Well, we gave them, I believe, $350 billion, but let's say it's something less than that, but it's
Mr. Trump, Johnny Kramer again here, Johnny Kramer News Channel. Sir, did you just say $350 billion we gave to Ukraine and Zelensky, and he can't account for over half of that money? Is that what I'm hearing, sir? I'm just asking, sir. I am getting a little bit older. I've gone through all the versions of CB and everything they threw at me. So I could barely see. I got one eye hanging out and my ear is clogged. Got some kind of fluid coming out. But I'm here because we believe in our government and we believe in you, sir. And I just want to know if I heard that right, sir. $350 billion was sent to Ukraine. Was any of that money used to create their nuclear facility, the one that is melting down and spewing shit all over my great earth of my father's God Almighty's earth? That's all, sir. But the tie looks great, but I think you wear the ties just a little bit too long, sir. And that's pretty much it for now. You can talk, Mr. President.
It's a lot. And we have to equalize with Europe because Europe has given us given a very much smaller percentage than that. I think Europe has given 100 billion and we've given, let's say, 300 plus. And it's more important for them than it is for us. We have an ocean in between, and they don't. But where is all the money that's been given? Where is it going? And nobody, I've never seen an accounting of it. We give hundreds of billions of dollars. I don't see any accounting. So I want to see peace. Look, you know why I want? Because I don't want all these people killed anymore. I'm looking at people that are being killed, and they're Russian and Ukrainian people, but they're people. Doesn't matter where they're from on the whole planet. And I think I have the power to end this war. And I think it's going very well. But today I heard, oh, well, we weren't invited. Well, you've been there for 3 years. You should have.
Mr. Kramer again here, sir. Did I hear there's over what? How did I hear this right? No accounting. They're not documenting any of this money that that we're paying out. Is this correct, sir? Is this what I'm hearing? Is this what Congress is hearing? Senate is hearing? And I agree. You know, these people go to war, but you know who pays for it? Well, the weak and the poor. Raise the taxes. We'll pay for this. Don't worry. Move them concrete blocks. Yeah, I don't know about this. I don't want to know about it. It's not good. Why are we spending all this money and we're suffering? We're not even the promised land. I mean, I can see if we were the promised land, right? We're not the promised land. I don't know. Are we under some kind of a trance, a spell? I don't know. I don't know. But this spell consists of just open up your checkbooks and rebuild another country. And then after we're done, well, we're scumbags. We're morphidites or whatever they call them, infidelites or whoever. I'm done with the whole thing. Let's continue, Mr. Trump. That was my question. So I'm sorry if I sounded rude at all. And I can reassure you, sir, if I was ever called upon to the great White House Oval Office, I would definitely have a suit on. And I would look smooth, so smooth. I might even call Mr. Who's that Irishman that fights? Conor McGregor, sir. Probably one of the sharpest dressers in MMA, probably. But I would have had a suit on. You bet your butt, right? It's one thing to walk out of there and put a T-shirt on, gym shoes or whatever, and get back to reality. But you show respect where respect. That's just like if they called me in to sit at the table of the mafiosos, the 5 families. Well, I would have a suit on. But of course, I would send my guys in first to make sure there ain't a setup. We all seen Goodfellas. We're not going to end up like Tommy. Everyone's saying, we got Tommy, baby, of Texas is saying. I'm like, Tommy was killed. He's dead. He was a rat bastard. If you got a Tommy, he's going to end up ratting all yous out. And it was just unbelievable, sir, what's going on in our own country. And I've had it, and I'm crazy. But these people, well, they take the cake, sir. Their cheese jumped, landed on a diving board, jumped up, hit a cracker, jumped, backflip onto another cracker. It's just crazy. Let's continue.
Ended it 3 years. You should have never started it. You could have made a deal. I could have made a deal for Ukraine that would have given them almost all of the land, everything, almost all of the land, and no people would have been killed, and no city would have been demolished, and not one dome would have been knocked down. But they chose not to do it that way. And President Biden, in all fairness, he doesn't have a clue. What he was so bad for this. He was so bad, so pathetic. It's so sad. But with all of that being said, look, it is what it is. When I left, there was no chance that this could have happened, but it happened because we had incompetent leadership at many different levels. But when you see what's taken place in Ukraine with millions of people killed, including the soldiers, millions of people killed, a big percentage of their cities knocked down to the ground. I don't know how anybody even lives there. You know, when they say they took a poll and Zelensky's at 4%, who's living there? You know, I mean, people are, it's hard to believe that people live there. Their cities are being knocked down. And this is something that would have never happened. And by the way, for 4 years, it didn't happen. It was never going to happen. Go ahead.
Follow-up question. How would you counter the perception, because Russia's pushing for this, obviously, they don't really hold true elections, that would be a capitulation of some sort. How would you guard against potentially Russia installing a puppet government? And then finally, how would that new election have an impact on getting Zelensky to sign the rare earth minerals deal?
Look, you have leadership, and I like him personally. He's fine. But I don't care about personally. I care about getting the job done. You have leadership now that's allowed a war to go on that should have never even happened, even without the United States. Look, we had a president who was grossly incompetent. He had no idea what he was doing. He said some very stupid things, like going in for portions and all of the things. He made a lot of bad statements, but he's grossly incompetent, and I think everyone knew that. This is something that should have never happened, would have never happened. And I used to discuss it with Putin. President Putin and I would talk about Ukraine. It was the apple of his eye, I will tell you that. But there was never a chance of him going in. And I told him, you better not go in. Don't go in. Don't go in. And he understood that. He understood it fully. But I'm only interested. I want to see if I can save maybe millions of lives. This could even end up in a World War III. I mean, to be honest with you, you've been hearing now Europe is saying, well, I think we're going to go in and we're going to go. All of a sudden, you're going to end up in World War III over something that should have never happened. And, you know, it's a very sad situation. Yeah, please.
In a court.
Very sad, sir. And they don't need a World War III because as the information withfolded, as this was happening, that a plane crashed into the nuclear reactor over there, and to this day it's spewing radiation out. So your World War III has happened, I believe, Mr. Trump. But thank God you got it under control, because it could have went a lot worse. And thank God Putin and Mr. Trump and Zelensky, or all these people, are going to come together and stop this war and madness. You people want to know why. You people want to know what's changing the weather, right? How come they're saying that global warming's fake, but we're going through all kinds of massive storms, floods, and yada, yada, yada? Who knows? Only God knows, ladies and gentlemen. Only God knows. But thank God it could have been worse. Let's take a break and take a look at this beautiful sun that is setting. We got clouds coming in. Boy, look at them real dark clouds back there. We got some clouds. Let me see. Performance issues alert. This tab's using extra resources to import your performance. Let Chrome make it inactive. All right, if I lose you folks, just let me know. Fix now. Inactive tab. At a glance, you can turn off this new look in settings. I don't know what that means right now. Do I even need it? Active tab. I don't know if I need that. What? Chat 1, 2. Can you hear me, folks? Okay. So we got some sun coming through. We got some clouds coming in. We got some dark clouds back there. It's going to get very cold tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Let's continue to listen to a little bit. I don't even know if I want to listen to any more of Mr. Trump's speech. I'm flabbergasted of, and it all adds up, why this country is in the predicament it's in. And the next thing that probably will be released is this ain't even America anymore. That there's been so much property and so many bad deals that some other country probably owns our military or owns this country. I mean, we don't know what kind of deals the devil made as he blinded us, we don't know. We just don't know. And it's just horrible. It's just horrible. But thank God Mr. Trump's in there. He's going to fix it. He's going to do all that. You know, Mr. Trump's been talking about mosquitoes a lot. Good God, folks. Mr. Trump might be trying to warn us that these people are killing us with mosquitoes deliberately. You know, I think that's weird because I think I see somebody down the hall was saying there was mosquito. I'm like, it can't be mosquito in the lobby. It's winter. Should be dead. But it could be. I don't know what's going on. And us people with disabilities and schizophrenia or whatever it is, we just think the worst and we go crazy. We just fly up the handle. We go back into NAM. Right? I mean, I was never in NAM, but I've seen it up on my uncles and everything. Right now. So I've heard crazy stories. I go into flashbacks. Right? I imagine that's why everyone's popping off. We're not sure. We're not sure. Are these people literally a war and here are innocent people stuck in between them? Maybe Debbie Fox clapped and said and posted a piece of poo in my chat. That's interesting. Do you nervous poop? No. No, I don't. I'm sorry. Would I be able to be something if I did? What do you have to do? I don't know. I'm busy right now trying to run a country and do everything. So let's just listen to a little bit of more Mr. Trump. Explain what's going on. And we'll see. We just got to get out. We just got to, hey, you're going to go to war with that country? Okay, good luck. No, we're not doing nothing because we're broke. Because for the past 400 years, we've been the empire, right? And now I'm picturing Empire by that band, that song Empire. Debbie, you remember the name of that band? Queensryche. Empire. Queensryche. Great. All right, let's listen to a little bit of. Let me see what Debbie's saying. Not today, Satan. Sorry, try and make you laugh. I am. You didn't have to delete your poop, Debbie. Everybody loves poop. Everybody loves poop, girl. All right, let's watch a little bit more of Mr. Trump. Hopefully this works. It's something about some active.
Well, they did already, as I understand it, reduce their car tariff all the way down to what we have. And a lot of that will take place, and I think some won't do it and some will do it. But the EU had a 10% tax on cars, and now they have a 2.5% tax, which is the exact same as us. So already we've saved a tremendous amount. That would be great. If everybody would do that, then we'd all be on the same playing field. Because essentially what we're doing with the tariffs is, they charge us, we charge them, same amount. And it's called reciprocal, actually. And whatever they charge us, we're charging them. And so the EU is, I appreciate that they did this, but, the EU has been very unfair to us. We have a deficit of $350 billion. They don't take our cars. They don't take our farm products. They don't take almost anything. They take very little. And we're going to have to straighten that out. And we will. I have no doubt about it. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Could you tell us a little bit more about the Russia talks, your impression of how they went today, and if you're perhaps more confident or less confident of a deal after what happened today?
Well, much more confident. Russia wants to do something. They want to stop the savage barbarianism. I mean, what's going on over there? It's soldiers are being killed by the thousands on a weekly basis. It's ridiculous. And they're not American soldiers. They're Russian soldiers and they're Ukrainian soldiers largely, although a lot of Koreans have been killed, as you know. Quite a bit of them have been killed. They came over to fight and a large portion have been wiped out. But we want to end it. It's a senseless war. It should have never happened, would have never happened if I was president. and it's a shame to see it. And I see pictures that you don't see, but I see pictures of fields that look just horrible. It looks like Gettysburg. If you see the old pictures of Gettysburg, it's soldiers lying all over the field, body parts all over the field. They're all dead. And this is going on a daily basis. It's a horrible thing. Both Russia and Ukraine, they're losing thousands and thousands of soldiers, and a lot of people have been killed too. I think that's one of the things that you'll see historically, and you'll see later on as it goes along. I think people are going to be surprised at how many people, not only soldiers, have been killed in Ukraine. A lot more people than you think. Yeah, please.
President Trump, as part of a peace deal with Putin, would you be willing to consider removing all American troops from Europe?
Well, nobody's asked me to do that, so I don't think we'd have to do that. I wouldn't want to do that. But that question's never really come up. Well, please.
Sir, do you support stationing European peacekeeping troops in Ukraine as part of this peace deal?
If they want to do that, that's great. I'm all for it. If they want to do that, I think that'd be fine. I mean, I know France has mentioned it. Others have mentioned it. UK has mentioned it. But yeah, if we have a peace deal, I think having troops over there from the standpoint of Europe, we won't have to put any over there because, we're very far away. But having troops over there would be fine. I would not object to it at all. We're talking about this now, peace. We have either a ceasefire or a peace itself, and we're looking to do both. Would start off with the ceasefire, and if they want to do that, I know France was willing to do that, and I thought that was a beautiful gesture. Yeah, please.
Do you have any message for Ukrainians who, after 3 years of fighting, might feel betrayed or disappointed at not having a seat at these initial talks in Saudi Arabia?
Well, I think I'm really disappointed in what's happened. I've been watching this for 3 years. It's a war that would have never happened if I was president, and I've been watching these people being killed at levels that you've rarely seen, not even close, since the Second World War. And I'm very disappointed. I hear that, they're upset about not having a seat. Well, they've had a seat for 3 years and a long time before that. This could have been settled very easily. Just a half-baked negotiator could have settled this years ago.
And we could have, Mr. Trump, when we said it's not our problem. But they had to, because it had to bring restoration back to that area and all this yada, yada, yada. So, yes, probably even a half-baked stoner probably could have figured something out better than more. And we're not rebuilding. I already know where this is going. Wasn't even our war. And sure as crap, they'll have the highest tech buildings and all the brand new stuff, and we'll just be. I don't know about this whole thing, Mr. Trump. I mean, our roads need to be. We got bridges and stuff that need to be rebuilt. We got skyscrapers that we got to take in consideration that are going to need to be refabbed. You know that as well as I do. The earth's shaking like a moneymaker. We got things here. We got dams that need to be rebuilt. We got pipeline to run. We got stuff we got to do here. We got to get C-rams all over America. We got to get all kinds of stuff going. Our Iron Dome going, right? The American Dome is what we're going to be calling it. I mean, we might even throw in there Trump, right? The American Dome of Trump or something. We don't know yet. We can't, because you're not a dictator, sir. You're not a dictator. Don't let them demons trespass on you. Don't let them. It's demonic. Don't let them. In Jesus' name, amen. But we got stuff to do. We can't be rebuilding Ukraine. $350 billion. Are you kidding me? I could have built all them a shack and still had a couple mil left to build me some kind of a double wide trailer or something. $350 billion, and they can't even account for 150 billion of it, or 125 billion of it. Where'd that go? Did we build their whole nuclear reactor or whatever it was? What did we pay for? What did we do? I don't know. But I can't watch no more of this because I have a disability myself, sir. This is Johnny Kramer from Johnny Kramer News, sir. It was a great day. You look great. You look sharp. You bet your butt. If I would have been called to answer any questions there, I would have came in a suit, probably a pinstripe suit, Logigiani cut. Probably would have had to call McGregor to see if I can borrow one of his Rolexes. But I would have came up there rolling deep and looking sharp. Although I look hideous, but the clothes make the man. So miraculously, I would change into a businessman. Do I know anything about business? No. But I do know about acting, sir. I've been doing a little bit here and there. So I'm, if you need a role, if you got a part in there for me, I'm game. But you've answered enough of my questions right now, Mr. Trump. We're still focusing on the vampires that Elon is talking about. And we knew we were getting bit by these things. They were trespassing on us. They were blinding us as they went in with their computers. There's another 26 trillion. We just went ahead and got 88 trillion from this guy. Oh my God, this is unbelievable. Yeah, we're strung out. This whole thing is just drove us completely mad, sir. It's either that or the vampires have finally done their jobs. The vampires have finally done their jobs because we're all brainwashed. I don't know. I ain't got time to figure it out, Mr. Trump. I got a world to save. It's bubbling up. It's burping out all over the place. It's splitting rock right now. It split a mountain the other day. I've seen the news. Italy's volcano erupts. It seems the mountain has split wide open. This is biblical. I'm waiting for water to come out. It's lava. Are you kidding me? No, global warming it's just not there. It's just a scam. I don't know then what is going on. Elon, are you doing something with our weather up in the space? I mean, yesterday after I watched that video of you talking in the Oval Office, you returned to being a 16-year-old kid. Now, I know you got Asperger's. I got Asperger's myself every time I go to the bathroom. Here in America, we call them dingleberries, but I'm sure there's a problem with you and there's a problem with me. I'm the same way. I'm stuck of the year of my accident. Yeah, I'm still a young teenage man. 1982 never left me because of my disability. So I'm like a teenager. Of course, it took me many years to figure out how to wipe my butt, but here I am. And I want to thank all you folks for helping me. And I'm alive. How long? I don't know. Mr. Trump's talking about mosquitoes, so they might have released killers mosquitoes. I have no idea. They're probably breeding them here. Eating dogs, eating cats. I'm not sure. That's Trump's word, not mine. I believe it. Sometimes there's this, I'm not sure. God save us. God save me. God save yous. God save this country. Stop the wars and stop the country rap wars in Jesus' name. That's just as worse as the Ukraine war. But good God Almighty, stop everything. Put a halt on it. I can't. $6.87 for the cheapest eggs they got. They're not even chicken eggs. I think they're muskrat eggs or something. They're not even chicken eggs. And this is what we're at, $6.50. They can't even tell me if it's an egg. It's probably a platypus egg or something. It's unbelievable what we're going through in this town, Mr. Trump. If you can only see the madness. There's days I look like I'm 150 years old. Yeah, I can feel. People are saying something is trespassing on you, John. I'm like, I know. Demonically, I'm not sure. God save us all. One day there'll be an answer, but today is not that day. Have a good day, folks.